and welcome back to Gigi's Kitchen, and if you are new here then hello and welcome. My name's Alexis and today I want to show you how to make my Nan's horrible cakes. Now you might be thinking, why Nanny's horrible cakes? Well, let me explain. My Nan wasn't the greatest cook. She much preferred to be in her garden than she did cooking, but when she did cook, she used to love cooking things like cakes for her grandchildren and her family. And this is one of those recipes that I have very fond memories of. So why Nanny's horrible cakes? Well, one day she brought some round for my dad to try, and my dad was eating it and he said to her, "Oh, these are delicious, Lil. What have you put in them?" Because my dad was really interested in food and he loved cooking, so he always took an interest in what people had cooked. And my Nan, I don't think she could quite remember what she'd put in them, so she just said, "Oh, I just chuck anything in, Sam," like that. So my dad was then imagining her sweeping up the floor and putting it into the cakes and stuff. So he then nicknamed these cakes Nanny's Horrible Cakes, and it's a name that's stuck in our family. We still say it now when we're telling stories of Nanny and her horrible cakes. We always say Nanny's Horrible Cakes. So when I was writing my recipe book, which is dedicated to my dad, it has mostly my dad's recipes in it. I had to include my grandmother's horrible cakes in it because it's one of those that still makes me smile today. This book is, as I said, dedicated to my dad, and it has over 56 family recipes in it. Most of them are my father's. Some of them are my Nan's, including this one. There's one of my grandfather's, and there are a few of mine as well. And I'm making these as a little treat for my family today, so I thought I'd share the recipe with you. So here is how to make my Nan's Horrible Cakes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to preheat my oven to 180 degrees. While the oven is preheating, I'm just going to spread a little bit of butter around the base of a 12-hole muffin tin. I bought this tin in Poundland, would you believe, and it was only £1, and it's actually lasted me really well, so I'm really pleased with this. So yes, I'm just greasing it with a little bit of butter. I've used a bit of extra butter, and I'm just greasing the holes with the butter now. This is so the cakes don't stick. You could use cupcake cases if you want to, but my Nan never really used cupcake cases. I think she thought they were a bit of a waste of money, so she always used to just oil or butter the bottom of the muffin tray that she cooked the cakes on. So that's that done now, and now I'm going to move on to putting the ingredients together. So in my mixing bowl I have 225 grams of ground oats. Now you can use plain flour for these if you want to, or you could use a wholemeal flour, or you could use a wholemeal spelt flour as well. In the book I've put wholemeal spelt flour or ground oats for this. And I ground these oats in my NutriBullet, and now what I'm going to add is 1 teaspoon of baking powder to that, and I'm just going to mix those ingredients together. And then I have 125 grams of butter. In the recipe I put butter or ghee, so please use either. I haven't tried making these with coconut oil, so I'm not too sure how that would work. But if you want to have a go, then please let me know in the comments below if it works out okay. And I'm just going to chop the butter into cubes, and I'm going to put it in with the flour, the oats, the ground oats, and then I'm going to mix these two together until this resembles breadcrumbs. So I'm just going to mix with my fingers now until it all resembles breadcrumbs. Butter and the flour is now looking like breadcrumbs, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is I have an egg here, and I have, in the book I've said to use 1 teaspoon of vanilla powder. Unfortunately I've run out of vanilla powder, and I'm waiting until it goes on offer on the internet because it is quite expensive. So instead I'm going to use a teaspoon of vanilla extract instead, and I'm going to add that to my egg. I'm just going to scramble this egg, so I'm just going to go and get a fork, if you'll excuse me a minute. So I've scrambled my egg, and I'm going to add this to the sugar in this bowl, and I'm going to mix these two together now, or these three ingredients, until they're all well mixed in. And I'm just going to pour that over the breadcrumb mixture. And I'm going to mix all of those ingredients together now. Now you might need a bit of milk to help stick all the ingredients together. So if I do, I will go and get some, but I'm just going to mix these in. And I'm also going to mix in some grated carrot to this as well. This is an idea that my grandmother got from my cousin's other grandmother, if that makes sense. So their paternal grandmother. So yeah, she always used to make a carrot cake, and my nan thought it would be a really good idea to put carrot into her cakes, and it did actually taste really nice. We all thought it was really yummy. And then you also need about 100 grams of raisins as well, and that was 1 carrot I put in, finely grated as well. So I'm going to stir in the raisins now as well. This is looking as though it's going to glue together. These are rock cakes, so they will be quite solid little cakes. They're not like, it's not like a batter mix, kind of. It's more of a dry cake mix than anything. So yes, this is looking perfect now. All of the ingredients have mixed together really well. So I'm going to go and grab my muffin tray now. So I've grabbed my muffin tray, and I've got a spoon as well, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spoon out some of the mixture into the muffin tray and try to make it look as cake-like as possible. I think I'm going to have to put that back there a minute. That's it. So I'm going to just spoon in the mixture into each individual hole now. So that's the mixture spooned into each of the individual holes in this muffin tray, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this into the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then I'm going to check on them after about 15 minutes. So I've turned my oven off, and I am going to put a skewer in to see if these are cooked. Yeah, it's coming out clean. So these are perfect, and they're lovely and golden brown as well. I've got a raisin on the end of the skewer now. So I'm going to put these aside now and leave them to cool, probably for a good half an hour or so. So my cakes have cooled beautifully, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these out from the muffin tray. They're not completely cool, but they are cool enough to touch, and I'm going to leave them on the muffin tray until they've cooled completely on the cooling rack. Sorry, I'm going to leave them on the cooling rack until they've cooled completely now. They are beautifully soft as well, and they smell delicious too, so I'm really looking forward to trying one of these, and I'm sure when my husband and son get home they're going to devour one of them as well, or two maybe. And that's it. That is my nan's horrible cakes made. So that's how you make my nan's horrible cakes, and that recipe, as I mentioned earlier, is in my cookbook Gifts from Grandpa, which is available to buy on Amazon, and I will link it in the description box below for you, and I'll also link the recipe in the description box below too. I'm off to enjoy one of these this afternoon with some jam and butter, and hopefully a nice cup of tea too. These are absolutely yummy, and I'm really looking forward to that. So that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and please feel free to leave any comments below, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you all soon. Bye.